So this is now the folder of micro-MVC. We've done here some work for you, so I prepared the basic files to begin with. Initially, what we see on the screen is the installation.txt. So the installation is fairly simple, but just bear with me for a while. Micro-MVC, like I said before, is a foundation platform, and that means that it cannot be installed in any subfolder. So therefore, if you want to utilize the foundational platform of micro-MVC, you have to have access to the root folder of your web server. So that means under the classic htdocs. So that has to be there. Otherwise, you have to know how to create the so-called virtual environments or virtual hosting spaces, okay? Or in other words, virtual host name-based virtual hosts. So that's pretty fairly simple if you know how to use Apache or Nginx. Well, I'm not going to go through the process with that installation here, but I just want to just give you the heads up. And the only thing that you have to do basically is to follow those instructions. It's at installation.txt. And if you need any help with setting up a name-based virtual host, just do let me know via my email or via the Facebook or Twitter or LinkedIn profile pages. Okay, I'm open to assist. And also for whoever knows me or has been known me in the past, I'm also fairly active in the social media. So I guess you can just send me a message and say, hey George, I need some help. Yeah, I will be happy to assist you. Okay, so we move forward with that. So the every micro-MVC comes together with two significant files, the .htaccess and the nginx.conf. Okay, so these two. So these two here are to assist you by bootstrapping the process so that you don't have to do any crazy configuration or go through the same mistakes that pretty much like 99% of the developers do when they start or when they begin with something like a new project. So this is to assist you. It has everything and anything that has to do with security, with loading and caching, and many other things, so that it gives you the head, that gives you the lead, and a few steps ahead. Actually, more than just a few steps ahead, so that you can start creating stuff with micro-MVC. So it's a good idea to use that. Just upload the htaccess or the nginx configuration on your web server, and automatically things will work for you. So how does the framework work? The system looks for the index.php, a classic one. So the index.php pretty much disables any error reporting. It begins the session start so that we can handle the sessions from the PHP side, and then it loads the basic micro-MVC framework. So the first thing it does is loading the micro-MVC wrapper. So the micro-MVC wrapper can be found in here in the files. So let me go to the libraries. Okay, so libs folder pretty much has the 4 files which consist of db.php, lang.php, MVC PHP, and util.php. And those 4 files is the core of the micro-MVC, at least to the PHP side. So I'm just going to open the files just for you here. So those 4 files are being loaded through the micro-MVC.php. There you go. It's outside of the libs folder. So again, it's a wrapper class, nothing very crazy, very strange here. It's a wrapper file, sorry, not class. It defines the micro-MVC flag. So this micro-MVC flag is there to reassure that any other file that loads actually has been loaded with the correct order. So you'll see afterwards when we go through the JS extensions that the system reroutes everything through the root, through the / folder. So the system is designed to first of all check if micro-MVC has been loaded correctly, so that all the text and all the configurations are in place. And if this is okay and this is correct, then and only then loads anything and everything that has to do with PHP on the server side, and the JS work and Ajax libraries work. Otherwise, nothing works, and that's also a security mechanism that cannot be bypassed in any way possible, at least that I know of so far. So we defined the micro-MVC block flag there, and then we start including the files. First of all, we include the utilization class, the utilities class, then the language class, the DB class, and the main MVC class, which is mainly for routing. So that's pretty simple, pretty neat, nothing crazy, pretty stuff here, and everything goes well. So I'm just gonna give you a quick heads up for the files. So the utilities PHP is actually a class. So everything in the micro-MVC core architecture is actually classful. There's enough documentation here for you to assist you with the stuff. Basically, you don't have to read through all this stuff because the API is not huge. It's actually fairly concrete, fairly simple, fairly small, and I was just giving you, the details here just to see how easy everything is. And I mean, it's like 800 lines of code, nothing too crazy, nothing too much. And again, all these things are also included in the documentation. By the way, there's another documentation. If you remember before in my GitHub video, there's also a small documentation that refers, like a documentation for referring throughout every single extension, so they have an easy way to go through the details of the API. There you go, the MVC as well, fairly simple stuff, nothing really crazy, but routing. I'm sure that you've seen many things like this before, but this is just, fairly simple, very concrete, no bloatware or sats. The languages, that's also a very, very simple one. It just, make sure that there are supported languages that you want, like English, GR, whatever, and this gives you the choice, the language chosen by the user, or sets the new language, or verifies that any kind of language exists in the system. So if like somebody says, okay, micro, -mvc.co/de, and there's no D in the system, so it comes with an error back and so forth. And last but not least, the db.php. So the db.php is basically the core interface for doing stuff with any database, and especially the MySQL RDBMS system, the most loving database system for the open source community and for the PHP as well. But I have like extensions that they support also through that. They extend and support also MS SQL, amongst other, SQL and NoSQL, of course, RDBMSs. So after everything loads, here comes the time for the config loader. So config loader basically does some basic session variable initialization and some global variables that have to be there in order for the rest of the systems to be utilizing it. And then it unsets those libraries because we don't want to have any memory leakage or so, and we just send some standards. So one of the standards is how we utilize some session variables. Remember, we begin with session start back in the first back in the index.php file. So we start utilizing stuff with the session variable so that we make sure that we handle everything correctly for the users from the server side, and that we know exactly who the user is, because those session variables create in the browser a nice session cookie, so we can track them and we can assist them and we can provide them great functionality. So the basic idea here is that you see something called the gate. Okay, so gates are a system of micro-MVC where you explicitly declare certain routes or certain AJAX routes, and then you say, well, you know what? I just wanna make sure that when I call this specific route, I get a specific file to respond back to me through AJAX. So gates is a powerful feature for you, so that you don't have to go through, giving away your full MVC routes on your project. So in other words, you don't have to go like myproject.com/framework/extension/something.php. No, you just hit the gate name there, and I'll show you afterwards what the gates are standing for. And you just, the system does the routing inside on the server side. So there's no, there's no information going back to the users or to the attackers who will try to hack the system in various testy ways. And after the config loader loads everything, then we have the supervisor. So the supervisor does some very neat stuff. It also protects you from any issues, and it loads also some other dispatchers like the Dragon, which is an MVC route dispatcher. The Dragon basically loads some configuration regarding how you want to route things, and if there are any special things that you're gonna do with any route, like let's say slash test has to do something that is not like a constant, it's not a standard thing that I'd like to do, so stuff like that. And then there are some extra security checks and some extra banding or blocking tests that we do, so that we can assist again the users either from explicit faulty access or hacking access, stuff like that. And also in the end, it loads the fortress.php, which is basically the Ajax dispatcher. So we have two dispatchers. We have the routes dispatcher, which is pretty much PHP dispatchers, and the access dispatchers, which are basically the dispatchers that load and understand the gates that we talked before. Okay, that's the idea. And after everything is done and everything is completed, we basically go with loading the index.php, and that's pretty much the HTML that you guys see when you visit micro-mvc.co. Sorry. And through there, we begin loading some PHTML templates, the PNGs, the images, the CSS, everything. And we also load routes. So the main route, the core route for the micro-MVC platform is the root. And what root does is actually loading the main content, the main MVC content of root. So we have here the folder MVC, views, and this is root. And this is basically what you get when you first load your micro-mvc.co or your localhost installation, okay? And there's also a test page. This is a test page as well. So the test page here loads a lot of different stuff. You see also the utilities operations loading certain nice extensions, JavaScript extensions mainly, and some PHP from micro-MVC to assist us with our configuration. And what you get is basically a nice test page with some cool examples of what micro-MVC is capable of, providing to you. And I'm gonna just refer here to Splash. So Splash is a fantastic extension that I built like almost 20 years ago. Almost 15 years ago, to be honest. And what Splash does is something very powerful as well, but it's not being used by many users, especially the ones who didn't have any experience with the .NET framework and Visual Studio. So I was amazed by what you can do with ASP.NET and the so-called server-side controls. So I did the same with PHP. I've developed Splash to be a fully reliable server-based classful, HTML element control. So what Splash does is basically a mechanism to create very professional HTML elements. They have all the same architecture. They adhere to every single standard out there in a W3C. So when you create a button or when you create a link or something through the Splash extension, everything that is being built and being seen, being drawn on your web page is certain that it's going to be high standard. There's not going to be any problems, no mistakes, nothing. Everything is going to be just perfect HTML elements with all the prerequisites and the requirements according to the W3C standards, and they're going to be there. And this also provides you with the ability to have either local events like JavaScript events, or by hiding in a very smart way, Ajax server-side events where you do something and then Ajax sends the command back to the server and it does some stuff for you, so that it gets back to you, gives you information, I don't know, prints new stuff on your web page, sort of use stuff like that. So it's a pretty neat extension where you can do stuff never seen before. And I think I'm the only one who's ever built a server-side classical control system for PHP. I think that this Plus is the only extension out there. So that's for now, and I'm going to be making a video representing the whole infrastructure of micro-MVC and the basic structure of the folders. It makes you feel comfortable. Pretty much it's easy. I will make also another video providing the examples of how you can start creating stuff with micro-MVC. And I just want to say that it's very, very easy. So even if you want to start right now, we just do something very simple. You just go there in the views, you just create a new PHTML file with any name you want. Okay, it can be like test2, test3, whatever, mypage.html, and you just go in the framework inside here, and you just search the routes.cfg, and you just put there with a comma another one like called my page, and you just save it, and that's it. Voila! Now you have a new route, and now you can do anything you want in this new route. So it's very simple. We're trying to make things fairly simple for everybody, make less code and make more things easily without actually writing like endless lines of code and achieving nothing. And you have to always remember, micro-MVC protects you from hackers. It has an entire anti-hacking mechanism in there. There are certain things that we follow. We follow the standards. I myself, I'm an IT security guy. I have like a long experience in the security sector. So you know, I'm just saying this because I'm very, very cautious when it comes to security, when it comes to hacking and stuff like that. So my the objective here is to assist you building something fairly simple by being robust, fast, and secure. Thanks very much, and we talk soon again, dear developers, engineers, and programmers. This is George Laportes. Thank you for watching my video. Take care. Cheers.